Zelete, thank you for your love and support. I appreciate you. Oh, wonders they say shall never cease to happen. The president of Senegal, the new Ecowas chairperson, Bassirou Diomaye Faye, has visited Mali. And the message is very simple. They want their brothers in Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso to join their new project, the project which is ECO. And for all this while, we have heard of ECO for about 30 years. But finally, they decided that ECO will be launched in 2027. Now they are ready. Looking at the criteria that they have set currently, it's not all the countries that can join. Not all of them have met this requirement. And that has been the reason to which this ECO delayed. But finally, ECOWAS decided that no matter what, they can't wait for everybody to meet the requirement before they roll out the ECO. So they want to launch it in 2027. And for that matter, they want their brothers in Niger, in Mali, in Burkina to be part of it. But we already had an answer from the leaders in Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso that they don't want to be part of this ECO. Looking at the articles that are hidden, the clauses, like one of the Article 8, that was talking about how France will still have upper hand, and this is going to be pegged with the euro. So at the end of the day, we've seen that AES leaders made it clear that when they look at the new things that are said about this new ECO, which we are told is going to be a form of freedom, because the CFA franc has been a colonial tool. It's still the same. The only difference is instead of CFA franc, we now have ECO, which is a new branding of the CFA franc. So they don't want to be part of it, and they are deciding to have their own currency launch at their own time, and they don't want to rush into doing it.
As is tradition, we have been welcomed in the pure tradition of the Malian Jatism. You know, the president, Senegal and Mali have historical ties of friendship and brotherhood. See? These are ties of good neighborliness, ties of kinship, of blood, of friendship, of culture, and of cooperation. And these ties, combined with geography and our shared history, form the basis of the exemplary relationship that our two countries maintain. And my presence today in Bamako is therefore part of this purely fraternal framework. I came to pay him a courtesy visit and to renew to him and his government, but also to the brotherly Malian people, our heartfelt condolences following the recent tragic attacks that claimed the lives of several soldiers. We bow before their memory and pray for the repose of their soul. I also express to President Goïta Senegal's unreserved condemnation with the greatest firmness of these heinous, cowardly and barbaric acts that are multiplying. To him and to all the brotherly Malian people, I pay tribute for the efforts and resources deployed, as well as the sacrifices made to strengthen peace and security in this brotherly country. Naturally, we had the opportunity to address other points during our discussions, taking into account the issues of peace and security at the sub-regional level, but especially on the ways and means to effectively combat terrorism, which continues to spread and threatens all our populations. When I reiterated to him Senegal's readiness to support Mali in this ordeal, to face together the multiple challenges and threats to peace, stability throughout the region and beyond throughout the Sahel. Because these threats, we agreed, know no borders and are strengthened by our divisions. We also discuss the prospects for strengthening cooperation to jointly address the challenges, whether in a bilateral framework or within regional bodies where Mali and Senegal are members. And I am delighted with our perfect convergence of views on the main issues we discussed in a spirit of fraternity, solidarity by combining our strengths. And I told President Goïta that he can count on Senegal's unwavering support, and I reaffirm our presence and commitment alongside Mali, as well as all other countries, to jointly address common challenges. We also discussed the situation within the framework of the WEMU, and we agreed to work with counterparts from other brotherly countries to convene summits at the level of heads of state as soon as possible to revitalize cooperation, monetary and economic, but also in the management of water resources at the level of this river that we share.
But we still have Ecowas still saying that whatever the situation might be, now the new Ecowas chairperson has to formally go there and talk to them that they still need them to be part of this project. These were the same people who were ready to go after their brothers and sisters, intervene because Ecowas believes that when it comes to governance in Africa or West Africa, we do not need military men in uniform or men in uniform to lead the people. So they were ready to go and intervene in Niger. We saw all the plans that they drew and how they were ready to go until Mali and Burkina Faso decided to rise up in unity to protect Niger and said, if they touch Niger, they have touched Mali, they have touched Burkina Faso, and there will be war. Now the same organization is saying that they want to have this money and they want their brothers and sisters in Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso to be passed. So the mission of the new Ecowas chairperson, Bassirou Diomaye Faye, is to convince all in all the savior, the protector, the unifier, the messiah, General Assimi Goïta, to convince the other ones in Niger and in Burkina Faso to join the new ECO project, so that at the end of the day, when we come to West Africa, we'll all be using ECO. And the people are saying that, why should we have a currency that is still colonial currency, whereby we do not have upper hand, we don't control anything. Whatever that will be happening to our currency is still controlled. In Europe, before it was only the Francophone nations that the CFA franc was rolled out. And now if we allow this thing to happen, it means that the whole of West Africa is now going to be controlled by Europe, and the printing, everything will be done in Europe. So AES is of the view that they cannot continue to allow people to be printing their money. They have decided to move ahead, but ECOWAS is still pushing, doing everything possible to make sure that their brothers will buy into the idea. So they roll out this ECO, whereby all of us in West Africa can use it. And people are asking our leaders, why can't we just take bold decisions in order to be free? If we are thinking about being free, we should have our own form of currency where we control it, take decisions. And Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger are also proposing something that is big, that we have the resources. Why do we need this fiat currency that is not backed by gold, by silver, by anything, but by the trust of a government institution, where a government says that my currency is valuable and we go by it because we trust that government, when we can have our own resources backed by our own currency, which is more valuable. And this was the same project that Muammar Gaddafi was chasing. Because Muammar Gaddafi said we have gold. If we have gold, why do we need this fiat currency? Whereby somebody just sit down, other people to be doing the printing, ink and paper, and they can print as much as they want. And as much as they print and the economy is not growing, the inflation rate increases and the people suffer. Households suffer. So it's better we have our own currency backed by our own mineral resources. And people didn't see that way. So they have to act. And this was one of the crimes, according to analysts of Muammar Gaddafi, fighting that Africans will get a currency that is backed by our real assets. And it's the same agenda that Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso leaders are pushing across. But ECOWAS is still of the view that we still need the fiat money, whereby it is printed in Europe. And Europeans control everything, because when you listen to what the analysts are saying, at the end of the day, we do not have any power. It's the same CFA franc. Nothing has changed. It's just the name that has been rebranded. They only changed the name, but everything that has to do with colonization, neocolonialism, and control still stands. And why is it that before this thing was announced, it must be announced in the presence of Emmanuel Macron? Because we saw that when the Ivorian president Alassane Ouattara made the announcement, Macron was there. ECOWAS is pushing the narrative that this is going to be a liberation for our brothers and sisters, especially those in the Francophone countries, because they have been forced to save 50% of their reserves in foreign capitals, and it's not helpful. But with this one, that 50% is going to be taken out. But analysts are saying that it's still not true, because when we are talking about reserves, it has different ways, because if we are still having them print our currency, they control everything. When something is happening in Africa, we cannot even control it to at least relieve some pain or burden on our citizens. Everything must be decided by Europe. It means that we have not done anything. So we are still trading the same thing by renaming it. If we are talking about having our own currency, the analysts and the leaders in Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso are saying that we should have something completely different, and let it be backed by our own resources, either uranium, gold, silver, or whatever that is real asset. And not that a government decides that my currency is valuable, and because we trust that government, we all go by it. So what are your thoughts? Should Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso leaders finally decide that they want to be with ECOWAS and then join them with this their project of the ECO, or the suggestion that they made by acquiring their own currency should be the one that we go by, whereby this currency will be backed by real assets? If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe, hit the notification, and select all. We are the only ones that can set ourselves free. United we stand, divided we fall, and united we keep standing forever and ever. The greatest enemy of the African is mental slavery. So let's colonize ourselves from mental slavery. Let's keep sharing to educate our brothers and sisters. Together we make Africa great for ourselves and the next generations that are going to come. So that's the latest around the world, in Africa and in Mali.